What's up, ladies and gentlemen? We got a bunch of new champions coming to the game together with the Fusion champion this week, I think Thursday if I'm not mistaken, and we are currently on the test server. We're gonna have a look at some of these champions, of course, and I do want to showcase one specific epic champion that I think is definitely really different compared to the rest, and I think it definitely has some pretty good potential. But let me just quickly go over some of the champions that are coming to the game. Hopefully I'm not missing any of them. On the Lizardman we have a new Void legendary champion, and it does seem pretty interesting. It does seem like it has some potential. Now, personally, I think they're adding so many new Void legendary champions. It's just crazy. It's making it so hard to get the OP Void champions. But with the A1, attacks an enemy, fills the champion's turn meter on all the allies if the target is under HP burn. I like this skill. It's a very strong skill. I think it's gonna be great. Places a HP burn debuff on all enemies for 3 turns and instantly activates any HP burn debuff on all enemies. Now this is gonna be on a 3-turn cooldown. If this skill right here was gonna be places an HP burn debuff on all enemies for 3 turns, this cannot be resisted and instantly activates it. That was the skill of a Void legendary champion. Like this, I do not see this champion as a Void legendary because you need accuracy, so you're still gonna need to use either an Ignatius, either a Drank to ensure that the HP burn will actually be landed on all the spiderlings before the detonation. If no, your team won't be consistent. Yes, it does seem to work much better in Hydra, for example. So we're gonna have to play him a bit and see how it goes. And we have revives all dead allies with 50% turn meter, 50% HP and 40% turn meter on a 5-turn cooldown, grants an extra turn. Yeah, pretty good reviver for that, but no buffs on your team, so it's not that great, honestly. Fills the turn meter of all allies by 5 for each HP burn debuff placed. Whenever an HP burn debuff is activated, heals all allies by 5% of their max HP. So, yeah, it's a bit interesting. You can read the rest of the skills. I'm not gonna spend too much time on the champions because I do want to showcase that epic champion that I have in mind. We have a new epic from the Skinwalkers as well, Frenzy. I'm not sure which one of the epics will be used for the fusion, by the way. But this one right here, fairly interesting as well. With the A1, he activates HP burn. With the A2, attacks 3 times at random, has a chance to land HP burn with each hit. Then you have a provoke AoE for 1 turn on a 4-turn cooldown and an increased defense on the champion, but he attacks the enemies, which is good. And with the passive, increases this champion's defense by 2% for each HP burn activated, up to 20%. Interesting. Resets each round. Then you have increases ally defense in dungeons by 30%. That's a pretty good aura for an epic champion, honestly. So he's pretty interesting as a champion. She looks more like a she, but I mean the champion. Then we have a dwarf coming in as well. Looks pretty sick. Puregun is Bale. She's a bomb champion. Pretty low HP and defense, but with the A1, attacks an enemy, has a chance to decrease the duration of a bomb, plus a massive wall of tax. But basically, all bomb debuffs placed by the skill on enemies whose max HP is higher than 200k will deal 20% more damage. So this will actually deal more damage on high HP targets like bosses, waves. With the A2, attacks one enemy 2 times. The first hit places a bomb for 2 turns. The second has a 55% chance to spread the debuff. So it's not guaranteed that she's gonna spread the bombs to everybody. And the A3 attacks all enemies, 100% chance fully booked to land the weaken. And if the weaken is placed on everyone, grants an extra turn. The passive places a revive on that buff on this champion whenever somebody dies from a bomb. Accuracy aura for all battles. It's kind of like a match champion. And now the epic champion that I want to showcase in this video. Apologies if I took too long talking about the other champions, guys. I just wanted to show you what other champions are being added to the game. We have Aeila Lifebraid. Out of all the epics, she is my favorite, and I think she does have some pretty good potential, and I like that she's very unique because of the passive. And the A1 actually attacks one enemy, restores destroyed max HP on this champion or the ally with the most destroyed HP by 25% of their destroyed max HP, which is fairly interesting. The A2 attacks one enemy. Before attacking, places an increased accuracy buff on all allies for 2 turns. has a 100% chance fully booked to land a sleep debuff for 1 turn. Not the strongest crowd control, but it's still something to help you out. The A3 places a block debuffs buff on all allies for 2 turns, so you get immunity for 2 turns, then heals all allies by 30% of their max HP. So the fusion that we had not long time ago, the cow, I can't remember the name, was doing something similar. A bit of a block debuffs and I think a bit of a heal. So this is an epic champion doing the same job. Fully booked on a 4-turn cooldown. The passive has a 12% chance of activating a give extra turn effect on the champion or an ally after using any active skills. So it's kind of like a relentless set when you are using active skills on your team. So it's gonna work for everybody, which I think is great. It definitely seems a lot of fun just to have a chance to get extra turns on your teammates without having a relentless set on them. So it's definitely a pretty interesting passive, very unique, and I'm a fan of it. If there are multiple champions on the team with this skill, of course, only one will activate it. Now, yes, it's only a 12% chance. It's not like a relentless that has an 18% chance to proc, but it's for the entire team when you're using active skills. So I think it's actually pretty cool. So there we go, my Aeila Lifebraid, guys. I have her built on a couple of resilience and 1 perception sets. I don't have crazy build necessarily on her. It's a fairly decent build though. 61k HP, 3k defense, 244 speed, and we have 300 accuracy. I do have a bit of a overkill on accuracy because the champion places the increased accuracy and then has a chance to place the sleep, okay? If I'm reading this correctly. Now, if we are actually using it as an act, it might be a bit of a different thing. Now, when you are landing the sleep, it's gonna be on a single target. It's not that powerful all around, but it can be fairly helpful, I would say. I do like the immunity, I do like the passive, and getting the extra heal is definitely not a bad champion, you know, as an epic, 100%. And when we are talking about masteries, guys, I have defense and support. Timely intervention as tier 6. The more turn meter we get, the more we rotate. I could go with rapid response, maybe instead of shadow heal, and maybe go with the cycle of revenge instead of the counter attack. That will give us even more turn meter, allowing us to rotate the champion even faster. But that being said, let's take her in for a spin on a dungeon run and see how she performs, how well she can actually help our team. So we're gonna run this team on Dragon 25, guys. We have Bellower, we have Stag Knight, we have Ferakin the Fat, Ursula the Mourner. So we're gonna have some buffs, and the way it works is her passive will have a chance to activate for every single one of our allies whenever they are using an active skill, basically, so they can gain an extra turn and either use another active skill, which will give them another chance for them to gain the extra turn, or move over to the basic skill, you know. We have a lot of stuff going on. There we go. Stag Knight just got an extra turn there from the passive. And we have a lot of buffs, a lot of things happening on the screen. So probably you guys will be able to pay slightly better attention than me at everything that is happening right here. Because we have so many buffs and so many things going on the screen right now. But it's actually pretty cool. Now, what I do think is a bit unfortunate is that her skill doesn't work with Sniper, for example, to increase the chance by an extra 5%. That would be amazing if the passive would work like that, you know, it would be so cool. Because that would be for all the team. Anyway, it's already only working with active skills, so the basic skills don't. Another extra turn right there. So, because it's not working with active skills, I feel like would be nice if the chance would be a bit higher, you know, in my opinion. But you can use the champion in Clan Boss, for example, as the block debuffs if you want, and you can make it go on a 4-to-3 ratio, or depending on what teams you have available, you can make definitely different teams, and that will just add an extra chance to give you an attack, basically, you know. So that's pretty interesting. Now, will be hard to decide, okay, what champions am I dropping for damage? Give an extra turn. There we go. So we gain another extra turn in there. She does have the 1-turn cooldown too, which kind of like stops it. So you might want to have the champion as fast as possible. But the main idea is if she's gaining the extra turn, then she's taking the turn. So the passive is again with no cooldown. You see, like right now she took the extra turn herself. So somebody else, like right now it just happened perfectly while I was explaining it, because she gained the extra turn. just to prove that the passive is actually getting the cooldown down because she got the extra turn, you know, so that's pretty cool. And Farrak in the Fed just gained an extra turn, moved over to the A2. So I do think that this epic is actually tons of fun. I feel like it can definitely be used by a lot of people. It's gonna be a pretty good support champion. It's not gonna be at the level of Godseeker and Iri or anything like that, but I do think she's definitely a pretty good one, and she has her spot in the game, you know. Increased accuracy, you have the block debuffs, you have the healing, and you have that nice passive. The recover destroyed HP is not such a big deal because I find it hard to use this champion on the Sand Devil's Necropolis, honestly. But as an idea, it's pretty interesting, right? So there we go. Where are we? 2 minutes and 57 seconds. Not the fastest team, guys, but hey, as long as we're beating it, that's what matters. And bang, we actually managed to gain quite a few extra turns on the champions, which is nice. How I mentioned, the cooldown is kind of like keeping it a bit locked under control so the champions don't have more chances to gain the extra turns. Like, just imagine Farrakin, extra turn, extra turn, extra turn, you know, before her taking a turn. But it's actually a pretty interesting epic champion. Now, if you want to run her in clan boss, guys, how I mentioned, you might have to go and do a 4-to-3 ratio team for clan boss. You might have to think of your unkillable team if you need block debuffs. Some champions run good on unkillable teams if they don't have the skills booked. So for example, I remember, it's been a while, I can't really remember the entire team, but we've done an unkillable team with Demita, and we needed to have a cleanser either on a 3-turn cooldown, either on a 6-turn cooldown, or a block debuffs, not necessarily a champion that cleanses. And a champion like this unbooked with the A3 would fit perfectly in that team and will bring you the passive too to gain the extra turns, and this champion will rotate so fast, you know, so will definitely be a pretty interesting thing all around. But let me know your thoughts in the comments down below. What do you think about Aeila Lifebraid? You like the champion? You think she's worthy of being a Void epic champion? I do think she's a pretty interesting one. Appreciate all of you guys watching. Much love, and I'll catch you all soon in the next one. Peace.